Ever get that urge for something sticky, unctuous, and viscerally satisfying? Sometimes the only thing that can really scratch that almost primal itch is barbecue. And let's not be mistaken, we are not talking about your backyard meat grilling affair. Rather, American-style barbecue, where the meat is slow-cooked for hours and come out so fall-off-the-bone tender that forks are pretty much an afterthought. What if I told you that in order to get a taste of this, you wouldn't need a plane ticket to the States, but rather a drive to the Tropicana side of PJ? This is Nazri, pitmaster extraordinaire and one of the founders of Beard Brothers BBQ, a down-to-earth, no-frills eatery that puts all its moxie in its menu of barbecued meats. Although he admits that the concept is not really new to Klang Valley carnivores, Nazri thinks what really sets Beard Brothers apart from other barbecue joints is the care it puts into what it sends out, a compulsion born out of his many years of training as a professional chef. And the path to getting it right for Nazri was littered with expensive, if tasty, mistakes.
I think it was just that obsession of just always getting it right. And I just stuck with it. It made me lose a lot of money because I was buying meats that were coming out not profitable. I couldn't sell them. It ended up with, just family members eating it. Hey, it's okay, It was back to the drawing board all over again, over and over again for the next 6 months. And, a lot of money was spent there, money that was not available,
Yeah.
So that sucked a bit. But again, looking back at it, I think it was just obsession and just that want and love to make it perfect and making sure that everybody smiled. As cliche as it may sound, that everybody's happy when they eat it. I want everybody happy to that point where it feels like their mom just hugged them.
And make no bones about it, there are no shortcuts when it comes to this style of barbecue. From choosing the meat, where quality matters above all, to how it's treated, which Nazri places the utmost importance on as a sign of respect for the animal. Prep meats go into a smoker at 9 p.m. and remain there until 10 a.m. the next morning. And at no point can you leave it unattended, as the heat needs to be managed. But running a restaurant in KL is one of the toughest gigs around, where 1 month you can be crowned as king with lines out the door, only to fall from grace half a year later as the fickle public moves from fad to fad, Instagram opportunity to Instagram opportunity. But for the Beard Brothers, ever since it was established in 2013, it has seen a steady stream of visitors, which has only grown, as has their menu. For 5 years, the menu was stripped down to feature primarily their halal briskets. Then came the ribs, the lamb, and the chicken, followed closely by the mashed potato, coleslaw, and cornbread. Not a bad evolution for something Nazri and his similarly hirsute partner at the time started out of Nazri's wife's grandmother's house in Kampung Keramat.
It was a nice little bungalow in Keramat.
Okay.
We had land, lots of open space for me to, burn wood and have no worries about neighbors being
Annoyed?
Yeah, with the smoke and all. And I thought this place is perfect over here. This is it,
Initially, it started out as just deliveries, but eventually people started showing up, asking if they could eat there.
For me, that was a prize for me, because a lot of them that were coming were traveling from Perak, were traveling from Terengganu, they were traveling from Perlis. That was crazy. And then there were the ones from Singapore and Johor coming out saying, it's not a restaurant, I'm so sorry, some of them are expecting a restaurant.
The decision to go into the restaurant biz was not an easy one for Nazri, driven as he was by the responsibility of providing for his family. But he says he will always remember the first few weeks they opened, which coincided with Ramadan, and wondered whether people would still come. The answer blew him away.
It was so full, I didn't expect that. It was so full that you'd have guys, we'd have to put picnic mats on the grass outside, and this whole grass, this field over here will be full of people sitting down on the ground having barbecue. That was like a dream come true to me.
These days, Beard Brothers has fans from as far away as South Korea and even a small group of devoted fans from Thailand. It has also expanded beyond the barbecue to include a deli, which is more for the pick-up-and-go crowd. And more recently, a late-night ramen shop, Umami Border.
I'll be very, very frank. It's a very selfish thing, but I wanted a place where I could sit down and have noodles. Especially, when you're talking about if it's like 11, 12 o'clock and you're coming back from somewhere far. A lot of young kids right now, they're coming back from parties and you don't have to have greasy junk food.
No matter what the incarnation though, the Beard Brothers motto of low and slow permeates every bit of food that comes out of the restaurant. So, what is next? Well, there are plans to open a branch in Johor, and franchise opportunities are endless for the deli and the ramen. These days, Nazri has trained enough of his staff, his boys, whom he speaks highly of, that he doesn't need to pull the all-nighters, so he can spend more time with his family. Which is why he went into barbecue in the first place.